Set it up.
Floats the pass for Renoff. Renoff down the touchline. Beats one. Gets it in field. Hancock gets it on. Queensland are coming back. Darren Smith for Vega. Vega gets it away. Here's the big fella. Gets the pass on. Coyne. Coyne goes for the corner and gets the try.
What about that from Queensland? They can't believe it.
I can't even talk. I've got to vomit after watching it. Having seen it 10,000 times. Welcome to Turn It Up and the great Mark Coyne. Coyne, thanks for coming.
Thanks, Joe.
Steve Renoff gets that ball. He's coming through down the left-hand side. What are you thinking? What are you doing on the right side?
I've always been, because I was sort of always played out in the back, so I always was a good number counter in sort of defence and attack. And as I saw the Pearl turn the ball back inside, I was counting the numbers and I'm thinking if the ball keeps getting out, to me, they're going to run out of numbers and I'm going to have a shot at getting to the line, and that's exactly what happened.
What are you doing? Because you're that side of centre.
Well, like he said, they kept chewing up all our numbers. That's Graham McKay there, the winger. So as Mal got it, I just saw it. I knew Coyne was outside, and I'm thinking, everyone knew he had a big, sharp right foot step, and I'm thinking, I might have to knock him out if I need to stop him.
So you should have, looking at that, you wish you hung him up.
Well, I had to, because there was enough room for him to score to beat me on the outside if I tried to hold on his step. And I'm thinking, I honestly remembered thinking that, you know, I'm just going to have to hold my right hand out here, and I end up going around his waist being a nice guy.
What's that moment in Queensland history, Billy? Where does that rate?
Well, I was 12 years old. That is my Queensland origin childhood. You know, sitting on a lounge room floor.
So that inspired
watching,
you?
Absolutely. That's what this footy team does. That's what that footy team did. It inspired us as Queensland kids, and that's what the footy team of the Maroons right now is doing to the future generations.
How does that make you feel when you've got the greatest fullback of all time saying that?
Pretty special, and you don't, you know, when you're playing the game, you don't sort of realise, you know, the impact that you might have going forward on things. And obviously, that was a great team try. I obviously was lucky to finish it off, but obviously it's a great thing to be remembered for in the game, and it's great that Billy's saying what he's saying and that Queenslanders are inspired by it.
What about that great team? Like, it went from Renoff, you had Alfie Langer, and the bloke who give you the ball, Mel Meninga, to play in a team with so many great Queenslanders. What was that like?
Yeah, it's just pretty special. I mean, all of us have played with great teammates, and it's just special. And you know, as you guys know, you just you get bonded for life. You know, when you play Origin, you go to a reunion, and it's just like you've never been away from the guys that you've been in camp with, and that's the main thing. Is that I think the bonds that you make with the players that you play with in Origin.
What about the players today? The players in Billy's team at the moment that sort of inspire you?
I think there's some great. Lindsay Collins, I'm a big fan of. I think Lindsay's great, and it's good to see him come back from injury and get through the game. I think he's fantastic. Obviously it's hard to go past Reece Walsh. He's obviously not going to play, I don't think, first game. But yeah, guys like that are really, really great to watch. There's just the talent now. Like even just watching, that the Roosters, Mark, I can't say his last name, but what he did the other night was just, unbelievable. And even what Xavier Coates did, like that leap was just like an AFL leap. It's just incredible.
Now, we grew up, obviously, watching the great Wally Lewis and Brett Kenny, and State of Origin to me is like, just some of my greatest memories as a kid. What does State of Origin mean to you?
Oh, everything as well, Freddie. Like, I grew up in a small town in Brisbane, Sunnybank, and I always aspired to go, and obviously, you always dream about wanting to play professional league and Origin, but I never ever thought I'd get a shot to do that. And to be fair, I never played a rep game. My first rep game was actually playing for Queensland in State of Origin, so I never gave myself ever thinking that I'd ever do that. So, when I finally got the opportunity to do it, it's just a dream come true. I remember looking at my jersey, just kept looking down, because I was on the bench. I just kept looking down at my jersey going, I can't believe I'm putting a Queensland jersey on. Yeah. I was so
and that
excited.
was before you were going out?
Yeah, that's before I even got on. No, someone showed me the video, a long time ago, but I was looking down lovingly at the Queensland emblem because I was so excited about being in the team. Can
you believe there was an instance just recently, Terrell May sitting on a video game saying, throw my Blues jersey out, I don't want it anymore. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's sad, obviously. It's just sad that someone is probably in a position, mentally where they feel like that's a discardable item, I suppose, because to me, they're just everything. Like obviously playing for Australia is, obviously great as well, but Queensland was just a different type. That Origin's a different game to playing a test match, and to get to play Origin is just like the pinnacle of the game that you're playing. And I treasure every jersey that I got playing for Queensland.
We saw the 95 footage, Fatty's Neville's, which everyone thought that New South Wales would beat Queensland by 50-odd. Probably we believed it too. What does that mean to you when you see it? You spoke about bonds playing with players. Tell us about that 95.
Yeah, pretty special, Joe. Because I played 7 Origin series, I only won 1, which was a 95 series. So I didn't have a lot of success, during my Origin times. But that was very special because you're right. Like, we virtually inherited a team because of the Super League war that I think me, Gary Larson and Billy Moore might have been, and Gilly were the only ones that probably had played Origin. All the rest were all young guys that were coming into the team. And the fact that, we just won that first game 2-0, I think gave us a belief. And one of the things about, Paul Vaughton, everyone thinks he's a, joker on, he was very funny on the footy show but he was a very, very good coach. And I remember, like, one of the things he used to do after every training session in Origin is we practice defending our line. So we'd go down right at the end of training and do probably 7 or 8 sets of defending our line. And in that Origin series, you remember, like, you got held up over the line probably about 10 or 11 times during that whole series.
First game was 2-0.
Yeah, it was 2-0, yeah. And I think that mindset that Fatty put in us around defending our line and practising it at training really just emanated into a bit of a thing, and we carried that through then after winning the first series for the next 2 games.
What did that mean to you, Billy? You spoke about that try Coyne scored. Yeah. Well, the following year, the 95. What did that mean to you watching?
Well, I think it typified, what it was to be a Queenslander. They were the underdogs. No one gave them a chance, and they kept holding their gloves up. To win 3-0 was, incredible. And like I said, that was through my childhood. Coyne, you played your entire NRL career down here in Sydney at the Dragons. You still live in Sydney.
Yep.
As a Queenslander, going through Origin time down
and
here.
Living next door to Gus.
And living next door to
Someone
Gus.
who's as New South Wales as they come, Phil Gould.
Is that a song, Living Next Door to Gus?
Yeah, so I think it should be.
What's that like?
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's a really weird street. Like, it's only about 7 houses in our street.
Hang on, a really weird street.
Well, it's just weird in the fact that there's about 7 houses in the street, and I've got Gus on one side, and I'm obviously in the middle, and I've got Michael Beattie right next door to me, who was a great Dragons player as well. So these 7 houses, you've got 3 former NRL sort of players, so it's a bit unique. But Gus is good. Like, our kids grew up together. Our wives are really, really, really close. And he's an amazing sort of he's a fountain of knowledge, Gus. Like, when you talk to him, sit down about football, it's just mesmerising, like, talking to him.
Oh, he's none
so
better.
Smart.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and look over and Gus's lights on?
Oh, probably.
He's going.
He doesn't sleep.
He doesn't sleep. He's got that big. He's got the big TV room where he's got the massive TV. And I think he goes down there and watches all sorts of footy highlights, I reckon.
What about the Dragons? We're there at the moment. You've just been appointed onto the board of St George Illawarra.
Yeah.
What do you want to change?
I think it's only just started there, Joe. So I'm still working my way through it. But I think you look at the club over the last period of time. We won the premiership in 2010, and we've only been in 2 semi-finals since that time. And that's probably not good enough for the fans and supporters and the club itself. So I think one of the things that I get frustrated by is you look at all the good players that were St George Juniors all playing at other clubs now. So clearly there's something, in my view, not quite right around how are these players ending up. And Tyrone Wishart's a great example.
Yeah.
Like, his dad played for Illawarra, played 1 year in the joint venture, and now his son ended up down at Melbourne. So how did that happen? Like, why isn't he playing at the Dragons? To me, it just doesn't feel right. And I think that's the sort of area that we've got to try and fix.
Well, they won the SG Ball last year, so you've got some good juniors coming through. Yeah. Now, you've had a fair bit of life, fair party life, in the commercial world. How'd you get into it, and what do you like about it?
Yeah, I sort of always felt I didn't want to go and be a coach because I just saw coaches turn over pretty quickly. So I thought I haven't got the patience to be a coach because I get too cranky. So I went to the corporate world and, I just got involved in sort of personal injury insurance, which is sort of people who hurt themselves at work. And coming from football background, as you guys all know, you have a lot of injuries. And so I sort of felt like I knew that sort of area pretty well. And, I just sort of did that and sort of, went pretty well. And, so, what is it, 25... 30 years later, I'm sort of part retired now, so right. I'm in a pretty good spot. But
1992, 1993, St George alone, not St George Illawarra, an incredible effort really. You're playing the Brisbane Broncos. they had 22 internationals in their squad, and you pushed them.
Yeah.
Tell us about those grand finals and playing against the greatest ever Broncos team.
Yeah, they're obviously a great team. 92, I think we had a really tough final series. I think we beat Newcastle actually 3-2. 3-2 in a semi-final, and the next week we played Illawarra to get to the grand final. And we beat them 4-0. So they were two really hard games, and I think to a degree, I think we sort of took a breath and went, oh, thank God we've made it, and then probably let ourselves down a little bit in terms of, thinking that we'd made it to the grand final. That's probably enough for the year. For us, that's a great result because no one gave us a chance. So I think 92, was always going to be tough. 93, I think, was our best shot at winning the grand final. Like, we finished high up on the table and we had a pretty good run in the semis, and Broncos had to fight their way from 5th spot. But at the end of the day, they're just a good quality team, and they outdid us on the day. And I still get phone calls now at 1 a.m. in the morning from Alf. Langer reminding me that St George can't play. St George can't play, so I still get it off Alf. He'll never give up, I don't think. But I'm at the point now where it was that long ago. I'm happy to take his phone calls.
What about the game at the moment, Coyne? Where do you see that?
I think it's great, Billy. It's just it's such a fast game, and the skill. Like, I was just talking about those guys that scored the tries, last night. Their skill's just unbelievable. Like, it's just, they're amazing athletes. The game's never been better, and congratulations to Pete V'landys and Andrew Abdo. It's just going so good. But it's tough. It's a tough game. It's a lot. I feel like it's probably a lot more harder than when I played.
Well, I'm sick of hearing your name around Origin time. Coyne, it's a miracle. But thanks for coming. You going up to the Origin?
Yeah, I'm going up. Yeah, I'll be there.
Well, we might catch you. Hopefully after a Blues win. Thanks, mate. You joined us on the pass-off too.
I am.
Okay. I was a bit worried about the pass-off.
Yeah, well, I haven't
You only right to left. You only ever played right.
That's true.
I look forward to his left to right.
Right foot step on the pass-off, Freddie.
I haven't passed the ball for 7 years.
I'll be head-eye on you while you're trying to pass.
Well, stay with us after the break. More Sunday Footy Show.